This is Chuck Martin at the AI Summit London, and I'm happy to say with me from Informa is Rajat Kotra, Group Director. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you've got a big task. Tell me what you're up to.
Well, I've joined Informa about 2 years back, and what we are trying to do as a team is to take this leap from data to analytics to AI, all for our customers' benefit across different parts of Informa.
So how do you do that?
Well, we are trying to follow the outside-in approach. So the idea is to find customer use cases, define the what's of this journey first, then assemble the team to do that, and start kind of detailing out the hows. So we really go from business to business, look at the use cases, prioritize them based on what would make more sense to do first than later, and then tie some business benefits to it, get the teams involved, make sure that they understand the value of data and all of this, and then go about building this with the teams there. So we are not doing things centrally. We are trying to build all AI use cases and solutions for our customers right at the edges.
So how do you do that at a company as widespread as Informa? Informa has a lot of publications, a lot of divisions. It's running this event. It's got event groups. It's got a lot of different moving parts. How do you deal with that?
Well, it's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. So, like I said, it's all about prioritization. So, what we do is, my team looks at which areas have a certain level of data maturity, and those are kind of more ripe to build AI solutions today. While there are some other areas, where we need to really develop data first, make sure that we organize it in a place, and we have the right data lakes and the infrastructure to be available to kind of build something off that. So we prioritize based on your data maturity in the business. And then also we prioritize based on, where are the effective use cases which can drive some customer benefit directly. So take an example, what we did last year was we went into the intelligence business and we built our first AI product from scratch in 6 months in the pharma intelligence business. So, and as you know, last year and a couple of years before that, the most relevant topic was COVID and the vaccines. So we actually built a study feasibility product on doing clinical trials, using AI solutions and AI models. We of course had the data we needed, and we were able to partner on some of the data we did not have internally. But the maturity of the data existing ensured that we could build really advanced models and put the product in the hand of the customers within 5-6 months.
So a lot of the companies we've been talking to here over the last 2 days, they're talking about two different kinds of issues. They've got their internal customers, if you will, and then they've got their external customers. Are you dealing with that the same way, having to deal with both customer sets?
But yes and no, right? Of course, you have both the customers, but what we are trying to do is to prioritize the external customers first. So we are just being a bit, I would say, pragmatic about it, knowing fully that it's not the ideal thing. But we are trying to prioritize the external customers. That's why we are going and building the solutions at the edges, not at the center. And I run the center, but I have this hub and spoke model where the hub or the center really only drives the strategy and the best practices and the learning around this. They don't actually go and execute that. The execution teams are built at the edges in the teams which are actually facing customers. So in this case, if you look at this event, the teams who will build the AI product will be the same teams, which actually are doing these events. So we will hire data scientists and other paraphernalia within these teams to make sure that they are doing the customer validation as and when they build the product, not later.
So do you look for solutions that could be replicated across groups, or do you look for a solution that's specific to a group?
Well, we always look for solutions which can be replicated, but we have to make a start somewhere. So, we basically start by identifying the customer need, making sure there's a customer who's willing to pay for it. One of the learnings, I have had in my 30 years of career, we have built some really fancy products, but they were never sold enough. So, what we do now is, we are being smart on this now. So we try to make sure there's a paying customer first, and that's why this whole outside-in approach. Once you have a paying customer, you build a proof of concept, you build an MVP, you build a product for them, and then you replicate that across different customers in the same area. That's the approach we try to follow.
So what is the speed of this? Are you finding that this evolves or it's going rapidly?
Well, like I said, the speed depends on a few things. One, the maturity of the data. The second is the availability of resources. And what we also do is we follow a build versus partner strategy. There are things which we think we can build, but there are many things we think we'll be smarter partnering and getting some other people to build with us and for us. And that's how we go to the market. I would say in Informa, the first few products have taken a few months. I think that's reasonable. What we are also very conscious of in the journey of AI here is that it's an experimentation approach. That if we will go after building, 10 experiments, maybe 2 will succeed, 8 will fail. So that's the other job I do. I make sure that the board and the management understand that that's a reality, right? This is not an area where you will always have business cases first and activity later. So it's a mix and match approach. I am not to focus so much, Chuck, on the speed of things, as long as we get the output within a year or so.
So before Informa, where did you work?
Well,
I'm only asking because I know your companies.
well, I've had some 30 years of, kind of sharpening the saw. Half of my career has been with big companies, big like IBM and GE and Experian. The other half has been with smaller companies, and I've done 2 of my own startups where practically you are selling yourself.
What do you like more, small, medium, or large?
Well, at my experience, you say that you like a balance. But, I like big companies or medium-sized companies who have a startup culture, right? And, and I like smaller companies who think big.
Right. So a year from now, if we're sitting here having this conversation, what would we be talking about a year from now?
More and more examples of where we have actually implemented AI for our own customer benefits.
Well, I look forward to that conversation. Thank you. This is Chuck Martin, live at the AI Summit, London.